Hi, this is Nicholas Yock, a registered migration agent from Pathway to Oz. We help you plan and execute your permanent residency pathway to Australia. Today, I'm going to discuss the permanent residency pathways for the occupation of childcare worker. This is specifically for the occupation of childcare worker, not childcare teacher, not childcare centre manager. Look, those occupations are really easy to get visas for. Childcare worker, a lot more difficult. However, recently there's been a massive shortage of childcare workers in Australia, and we've seen a lot of centres open to sponsoring applicants. We have centres at the moment who simply can't find enough staff. So look, today we're going to discuss some of the common pathways to permanent residency as a childcare worker. So these include the Skilled Employer Sponsored Regional Subclass 494 visa, the DAMA, a special DAMA visa. We can discuss labour agreements, so that's if you're in Melbourne, Sydney or Brisbane. And finally, we'll discuss becoming a childcare teacher. The 494 visa, or the Skilled Regional Sponsored visa, allows you to get sponsored by a company if you're not in Sydney, Melbourne or Brisbane, okay? However, in order to apply for this visa, you must have 3 years of full-time work experience after you've completed your diploma. Okay, so you need 3 years of work experience as a childcare worker group leader after you finished your diploma. So look, I hear a lot of you saying, well look, I've just graduated, I'm on a grad visa, I've only got 2 years of experience. You know, how can I get the 3 years needed to apply for this visa? Well look, it's quite often the case that you'll need to potentially move on to another visa after the grad visa. But you know, it's specific to your circumstances. So if you're in that situation, you know, have a chat with Pathway to Oz. And guys, like in all employer-sponsored visas, the 494 visa, you must get in sponsored by an approved employer who must nominate you for the position. We have a separate link on this video, so check out the link below. So the 482 DAMA visa. So this is another option for an employer-sponsored visa, and it could be the quickest pathway to permanent residency. In states such as like South Australia, you might only need as little as 1 year work experience. In other states, you could get sponsored with as little as 2 years work experience. DAMA is a special kind of employer-sponsored 482 visa. These visas were created so specific regions in quite regional areas can attract much needed employees to fill the role. And the occupation of childcare worker is available in some of these regions. So in specific DAMA regions as well, you may be able to get sponsored with a lower work experience requirement, lower English requirement, lower salary offered. However, you still need to find a company that's willing to nominate you, and they must be an endorsed DAMA sponsor. All right, so now I want to talk about labour agreements. So far, I have discussed different options for PR in regional areas only. If you want to remain in Melbourne, Sydney or Brisbane as a childcare worker, you have limited options. But there's still a small possibility that you could get sponsored through a labour agreement. So a labour agreement is where where an organisation sort of petitions the government to sponsor occupations usually not allowed. So it's a very complex and costly process. And generally speaking, because of this, only larger organisations do this. So it's very common for mining companies, casinos, aged care centres, etc. Although with the shortage of childcare workers, it has become more common for some of the larger centres to go down this pathway. So finally, guys, I want to discuss becoming an early childcare teacher. The occupation of childcare teacher is one of the most in-demand occupations in all of Australia. We recently received New South Wales 190 nomination in less than a week for this occupation. There's a huge shortage. So it's a lot easier to get a permanent work visa in these occupations. So I mean, if you're open to studying again, to skill you in a course, or to skill you for the occupation of childcare teacher, you could look to take a bachelor qualification. If you've previously studied a diploma, this can shorten the duration of that course as well. Look, I hope you find this information helpful. Please note the information provided is general in nature, and if you do want to discuss your specific circumstances, I'd recommend booking in for a consultation with a migration agent. Thank you.